Saturday morning, and I'm back in the basement. And I think today is the day I'm going to start on this wall here. I've gotten the jack into a pretty good place. It's now at what, 3 3/8 of an inch between this metal plate here and this metal ring here. So, and that's up from 2 7/8. Yeah. So we got a good 1/4 inch of lift out of that. So I'm pretty happy with that. So I want to get started on that. And part of that is also I want to investigate this area here. It's really dark colored, and I brought in a torch and kind of touched it to it, and it dried right up. So that I'm wondering if I'm getting some like water seepage right here as well. So I brought down something to kind of help me investigate that, and we'll see if we can get into that. As well as when I've been playing with this thing. You guys may remember this from last year. It's basically a cement caulking gun. It's a mason's gun or something. I bought it with the idea of like I could just load this with cement, it into the walls, but it leaked all out onto the floor, and I think that's because I didn't tighten this thing. When I pulled it back out, I noticed that this area right here was kind of like concaved, and it kind of still is a little bit, but I tightened these nuts up and this squished out, and it creates a nicer, tighter kind of seal around the tube. So I was like, yay, maybe this won't leak all over the floor this time. So maybe today I'll give it a try and see if I can get anything out of it. So I started cleaning up and getting into the wall, and it's a lot more extensive than I thought. This rock right here, you can kind of see when it flashes, is literally pulverizing under the weight of the house. So it's almost like the weight wasn't evenly distributed between this one and the other one that was sitting next to it. And I've gotten kind of deeper in there. Let me get a flashlight. I got a flashlight. So it's not the worst thing ever, and I don't think I can see through to the outside world. So we're not that bad yet, but there's no support for this beam in this corner at all. And this guy, like I said, is kind of like separating and pulverizing as it goes. So, and then the cement underneath it is just busted. And so like this whole section is just kind of not so great. So, it's a more extensive than I thought. Oh, you can even see, like there's been fix on top of fix. There's some brick right there, and that brick is just crumbling. So it's very interesting that this is holding up so well, but the stonework isn't. It's very curious. Now, the stuff I bought to put in here is supposedly this same kind of cement. I mean, granted, that's probably from a cement truck, but, I don't know what to say about that. But my fear is I'm getting so much into this, and so the extent of the damage is so much that I think what I want to do, just for my own safety and because I'm a little paranoid at this point, is I think I want to install another jack just to bear the load. Just another, like from here on this side of the board to right as close as I can get to that pillar, to this part here. That way, just for my own safety. There's spiders living in there. There's a spider. Look at that. He's not happy about that light, I'll tell you. So, yeah, just for my own safety, I think I want to install another one of these big, heavy jacks. I might be okay. I think they said this is a 5-ton jack, but I like life, I guess. So, if I have to spend another $50 or something to put a jack in just to make sure I don't get crushed, then that's the price of staying alive, I guess. second jack is in, and it's not looking too bad actually, and it's right underneath this main beam, which makes me super happy. Whew, I was reaching up in here. Let me get my light. Let me get my torch. Let me. Why do they do that? Why do they make flashlights that flash? It seems like every cheap flashlight does that. It seems to be like, oh, people from an emergency could use it. And it's like, really? Whatever. That's the topic for another day. Anyway, so now everything is super loose. Like this I could just pull right out. So I think adding that second jack added in was a good thing. It added in a lot of lift, and now I feel like not only am I supporting down this way, and this thing's locked in place because it's under a cement floor with a spread, a bar essentially, but then I've got this guy here right at loading him. I feel a lot better. I feel a lot safer. I feel like I'm not gonna be crushed by the house. So my first round of working on the wall, and I'm really glad I got the second jack. I really am, because it let me really get in here, and boy oh boy, is that something that scares me right there. Looks like maybe worm rod? Not sure. Or termites, maybe? I don't see any termites now, but I don't see anything living there anymore. I got all the spiders. But that's pretty deep in the wall. It's pretty deep actually. You can actually, maybe you can see it, that little spot of light is the outside world. So that crack right there is something I patched last year. So that kind of newish looking cement there is something I put in last year. So that sucks. This whole area was a void, and you can kind of maybe see it. Right there-ish is actually a root. I pulled most of that out, but yeah, there was like a void and like animal stuff and whatnot just kind of hiding in there. So this has been open for a while, so that sucks. You can see lots of little cracks and crevices, and there's a huge void right here. It just kind of, oh, there's the lens. Okay, so it just kind of keeps going in there, so that sucks. I need to get that filled in ASAP, and I pulled more rooting out of here, and so it's pretty bad. The roots, there's right outside here, actually, like right here on the other side of this wall is two big ferns, and I think that their days have got to get numbered, because they are helping to compromise this wall, because their root system is just digging in, and that's not good at all. So I'm not really certain what to do about that. I'm going to do some research. But I like the fact that this stone right here is nice and flat. That should give me a nice good base to re-support the house from. And that makes me pretty happy. So everything's pretty much cleared out. That's super loose. And I got a pile of rocks now. And so that's a thing. So I get to play a little bit of what'll fit and where, and I'm hoping I can take some of those smaller stones and maybe get them down in there after I get a base of cement slabbed in there, throw a couple stones down in there, and then cover it up, as well as in there, and obviously up in here is where most of those stones are going to go back, because that's where they came from. But then, so I got to clean up this mess kind of right here so I can get a better look at the flooring area, make sure that's good. But I think for the most part, I think I'm done with kind of demolition-y kind of stuff. Oh, you can actually see the outside world right there too. I don't know how well it'll come out on camera, but you can see that goes right out to the world too. So that's where a lot of, I guess, air is going. All right, I'm gonna kind of clean up a little bit more, and I think then I'm gonna start working with the cement guns. think that worked for the day. Pretty tired. But I was able to pretty much finish up the bottom portion of this, so that's looking pretty good. I started in on this big void here, and I got like the back part in, and some couple of big stones are in there and kind of submerged, and they're tapped in, so hopefully it's got some nice cement sunk in there. I know I got a little bit of a gap up in here that I'll use the pump thing again and see if I can squeeze some more cement up in there. But the big void that was there is completely gone. It is filled in with small rocks and a shit ton of cement. So it is it is packed full. So that makes me really happy. But I'm exhausted. This has been I don't know, I wouldn't say this is a bigger project than I thought it would be, but it's pretty tiring. So I'm gonna clean up and take it easy for the rest of the day, but I gotta come back in here with that last pile of big stones over here, and they're gonna live back in here, and that's gonna be a lot of cement on him. And I've actually had the thought, if I put a board across here and a jack from here over to here on a board, could I just fill in cement? I think the answer is probably yes, but it's probably going to just be a disaster to try. So I think what I'm going to do is just keep doing what I'm doing, which is just keep layering in stone and cement and keep building it up and get it out here nice and maybe even with this rock here, and then call that done. And then once that part's done, fill that gap there and then start on the big void and then re-support the house. So I think that's my long-term plan. I gotta get there. Just a side note, I'm just looking at the work. So this is obviously my wet cement. This is supposed to be the same kind of cement. And that back there, I don't know where you can see it, it's right there, is cement I put in last year to fix the foundation, or fix cracks in the foundation from the outside. It's interesting, I'm looking at those, and then I'm looking at this. This is cement as well, but it looks a lot more like this cement, like this wall finishing cement. And I'm wondering if Doug didn't just fill the cracks with like cement that was designed to make it look nice, like stucco cement. It wouldn't surprise me.